Welcome to the AfriFreedom Channel, your #1 destination for fearless analysis, historical clarity, and revolutionary perspectives from Africa and beyond. If you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more relevant and important updates just like this one. And remember, your voice matters here. Engage with us by dropping your thoughts respectfully in the comment section. Let's build this community of thinkers and changemakers together. Disclaimer: the content shared in this video is for informational and educational purposes only. The views expressed are those of the presenter based on publicly available sources, and they do not necessarily reflect the official stance of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised. Recently, former US President Donald Trump made a striking statement that has resurfaced online, reigniting debates about historical memory, global power dynamics, and the politics of alliance. Trump
Macron was a good man. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "We're celebrating World War II, our victory." I said, "Your victory? Your victory? Tell me about that." And then I called somebody else, and I happened to speak to President Putin at the time. Now, in all fairness to him, he lost 51 million people, and he did fight. Russia fought. Sort of interesting, isn't it? He fought with us in World War II, and everybody hates him. And Germany and Japan, they're fine. You know, someday somebody will explain that, but I like Germany and Japan too. But Putin is a little confused by that, you know. He said, "We lost 51 million people, and we were your ally. And now everybody hates Russia, and they love Germany and Japan." I said, "Let's explain that sometime, okay?" But it's a strange world. But I will say this: look, I want them to go away saying how great our country is and how great our military is. And I was making all these calls. For some reason, I spoke to like 4 different places. "Sir, are you celebrating?" And I said, "You know, we won World War II and World War I, right? We won them. And yet we're the only country that doesn't celebrate. Everybody's celebrating except us." And I said, "We should celebrate too."
Trump said Russia fought with us in World War II and everybody hates them. And Germany and Japan, they're fine. Someday somebody will explain that. Everybody hates Russia and they love Germany and Japan. It's a strange world. Whether one agrees with Trump or not, this statement forces us to confront the selective amnesia that often shapes global political narratives. Why is it that nations who were once branded enemies of the world now enjoy favorable alliances, while others are consistently demonized despite shared histories? Why does the global West rehabilitate some and vilify others? And how do African nations get caught in these power games, treated as pawns rather than players? Who decides whose history is remembered and whose is erased? Share your views below. Do you believe the global order is fair, or are we living in a carefully curated illusion? In another powerful moment that speaks directly to the African condition, EFF leader Julius Malema took to the stage to expose the entrenched influence of a single family that allegedly controls key levels of the political system in South Africa.
You know, you guys must get someone who, with courage, to just do a documentary about Cyril. Cyril didn't attend Mandela's inauguration because he was angry at Nelson for not putting him as a deputy president. Because the Oppenheimers have been touting him that he will be Mandela's deputy president. Cyril has been self-seeking, and he has been saving the Oppenheimer and the Minel family and all of them with loyalty, and not now. From the 70s. From the 70s, Cyril has been working with these people. Cyril went to establish a new NUM, a union of mine workers without being a mine worker. Cyril has never been a mine worker. Cyril has never been underground a mine. He went to school to do law. When he came back, he served as a legal officer in the Oppenheimer family. Then there was a commission of investigating black workers' conditions or something like that, which came with recommendation that unions of black workers must be recognized. Upon realizing, the Oppenheimers, that now these people are going to be recognized, they're going to cause a problem, sponsored the formation of the NUM. For some reason, he found himself in the UDF, then in the reception committee of Nelson Mandela. So when Mandela walks out of Portsmouth prison, you must look at that video. You don't know whether Cyril is a bodyguard or what, but he's there giving the car direction. By the wall is the one who's holding the mic. This guy is infiltrating Nelson. When Nelson arrives, sleeps one night in Soweto, and then comes to Johannesburg. With which money? From where? And then he stays in the Minel's family house. Now, the Minel are one of the big mining families in South Africa. So when you say he stayed in Minel's family house, you're thinking, oh, maybe it's a complex. Same house. He meets Minel's children on the passage wearing gowns. Minel's child, when Mandela passed on, said, we used to see the names we see on TV at our house because these people used to come there and meet Nelson. He moves from Minel, he goes to Sexen Hotel. He moves from Sexen Hotel, he goes to Houghton. We who have been working, we have now been to prison. When we buy houses ourselves, we get questioned, how can Malema buy a house in Sandton? Mandela bought a house in Houghton. With which money? Why did Mandela get money to buy the house? This one, Cyril, was at the center of compromising Nelson. So if there is anything that white establishment and the Oppenheimers in particular have on us, is Cyril Ramaphosa.
So then, would Paul Mashatile be a better candidate for you?
Well, it's not a better candidate. It is
more acceptable?
No, it is the ANC to make that decision. But Cyril's relationship to what we have now as a country, as a problem, he's deep-rooted into it. The Oppenheimers are forming a political party every day in South Africa just to upset the system, because in their reading of situation, they like the EFF is going to emerge and pass the DA and merged with the ANC. They've got a majority. It's undesirable. They write there in their website that no, this is not it's not a desirable situation. So what do? Let's fragment the black vote. What are the things that you look at in financing Rice Mzansi? Because that guy has got no history of mobilization of anything except being an editor of a newspaper. You give such a person 50 million and you say, no, it's donation. It's not donation. It's a formation of a political party. And then there is that lady who was a speaker here in Johannesburg.
Mm-hmm. Sarah.
Mutuno Anansanuru is doing Sarah. We wake up in the morning, Sarah has got posters. Poster. Correct poster. It's very expensive. Where did she get the money? She was struggling here with us in Johannesburg. Then you've got Herman Mashal with no idea what he's doing. He gets given 15 million every 20 million. All these monies of different political parties, including the DA, come from one family. And then this family just divided around their individual granddaughters, the daughters, and then they distribute it as if it's their individual money, but it's one family. Why? The Oppenheimers are the people who formed the political system in South Africa. Actually, the Oppenheimers were members of parliament when parliament started in South Africa. So this was designed by, all of this that we found was designed by them. Then they took a decision to get out and to do business. Now they feel they must still control a political space. At the center of that is Cyril. Whatever happens, Cyril must continue this. All the problems we had, Guptas and all of that, that's fine. Cyril wins to be a president of the ANC. Everybody who had a BEE deal, which has nothing to do with Zuma, has got nothing to do with Oppenheimers, on the basis of what you are bringing to the table, you have been accepted in whatever company you may think of. When this guy came, all those guys were dismissed. Were dismissed. Today is very difficult to find a black African millionaire, because if they had a stake in this coal company which was supplying Eskom with coal, they are taken out. Why? We don't need you. We've got the president. President is on a speed dial. And then you want to subject us to that another 5 years of that suffering.
Malema's courageous confrontation wasn't just a critique of corruption, it was a call for political consciousness and a demand for the decolonization of power. He reminded South Africans, and by extension all Africans, that the real enemy is not always visible, and that systemic control often wears the mask of democracy. How many African countries are silently governed by elite families behind the scenes? How many of our leaders answer not to the people but to private interests cloaked in wealth and historic privilege? These are not just questions for South Africans, these are questions for every African. Who owns your freedom? Who funds your leaders? And more importantly, who really controls your future? Both Trump's reflection on global power relationships and Malema's call for internal political awakening converge on one essential truth: the systems of control, whether global or domestic, are rarely what they appear to be on the surface. While Western nations continue to rebrand their past enemies as current allies, Africa is expected to follow suit, to obey, to remain compliant. Meanwhile, within our own borders, powerful families and corporations often decide national policies, while the masses are distracted by cosmetic changes in leadership. Are we truly independent, or have we simply changed the hands that hold the chains? This world is indeed strange, as Trump pointed out, but it is not strange by accident. It is designed to be strange, confusing, and manipulated in favor of those who control the narrative. So we must ask, when will Africa take full control of its own story? When will African people stop being spectators and start becoming authors of their own destiny? Thank you for watching the AfriFreedom Channel. If this video stirred something in you, don't just scroll away, let us know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with Trump's assessment of global hypocrisy? Does Malema's exposé reflect the reality in your own country? Your opinion is part of this revolution. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned, we are just getting started. There's more truth to uncover, more lies to expose, and more freedom to fight for. Until next time, keep questioning, keep thinking, and never stop seeking liberation.